You can't use PokerTracker 4 while playing on Coin Poker, but that doesn't mean that you can't use it at all. And in fact, I've just discovered something very useful and important, and I'm going to share this with you today. So, how can you use PokerTracker 4 with Coin Poker? Well, what you can do is every so often, I do it at the end of every month, I just email customer support at Coin Poker and ask them to send me over my hand histories for the past month. And they usually do that within an hour or so, so very quick. And then I get the raw data as a TXT file. And then what I can do is then I can go into PokerTracker 4. And so we have play poker here, and what we can do is get hands from disk, and then you go on select files, and then here I have this the hand log, so I could just click on this, open, and then it will just import all these hands. I'm not going to do it because I've already done it and I don't want to have duplicates, but this is exactly the process how you do it. And then you have all the hands that you played or that you witnessed in the database. And then we can go up here. So for example, this would be my results for the past month. I only really started doing this in June, so I'm still waiting for the July ones because I haven't asked for them yet. But yeah, so these were all my stats. So first of all, I can analyze my game now. I can see what my red line looked like, what my blue line looked like, how I did overall. So as we can see, here I won $135 after all in, and $171 in general, and I made 18.5 big blinds per 100. Obviously, sample size 3,200 hands, not really meaningful, but it just gives you an idea. And the more data you have, the better the idea will be that you'll get from this. But this is not all of it. There is one thing that I really like, and that is opponent analysis. So if you play on Coin Poker quite regularly in a player pool, you will notice who the regs are there, and I always like to get their stats, which you can't do on Coin Poker because you can't use the PokerTracker. But what you can do is you can find the regs in here. So what I did, for example, I just took this one random player, and I'm not picking on this player, it's just for illustration purposes, because I just remembered the catchy name that he had. And then we saw here also only 800 hands on him, so I don't have a big sample size, but I can see his tendencies. So for example, here I can already tell that he's probably not super aggressive if he has a red line that's just going down, which means that if he 3 or 4 bets me, I should be more inclined to fold. And what I can do now is I can just take notes. So I'll say this player has a downward red line, which suggests that he's more passive, and I just know these adjustments then, or I'll just write them even into the Coin Poker note system. And then there is even more that you can do. So for example, then if you go to his statistics, then you can see like on how he did here, what the VPIP and PFR was, the total aggression frequency, and so on. And then what I think is the most important tool is to just go towards the end of the sample size that you have, just click on this line and then click on replay hand. And I don't care what hand it is, I'll just make this bigger here. I don't really care what it is. We can see Hungry, the guy is here. Let me just pull this up a bit bigger here on this part of the screen. And then what we can do is we can now click on his actual stats, and now we get a wealth of information. So again, this is only over 800 hands because I don't have more data, but the more you play in this player pool, the more data you will have. And now I can look at everything, and I can see 3-bet by position, only 5%. So if I look at this, like 6% in MP, 2% in the cutoff, 6% on the button, 6% small blind, 6% big blind. So when I see this now, I am pretty certain that this guy doesn't 3-bet enough. So that means that I know how to adjust my play against him. So I will definitely take notes that this player under bluffs when he 3-bets, and so that is a great thing to know. I'm not gonna 4-bet him light if I know that he under 3-bets as a bluff. And then we can go through all sorts of things. So for example, c-betting the flop 55%, c-betting the turn 44. He doesn't check raise much. So he is quite passive overall with everything, so that is also good to know. And then we can go here to see pre-flop, what he does, like attempt to steal, for example, quite low, although 92% attempt to steal in the small blind. So this would be another thing that I would say. He under raises in all sorts of positions, but he over raises in the small blind when he gets a chance to. So 92% of hands raising in the small blind is huge. So I will make another note to 3-bet him specifically when I'm big blind and he raises in the small blind. But as I said before, I won't 3-bet him or 4-bet him that much when he opens. Especially I won't 4-bet him light if he 3-bets me. So these are kind of a few adjustments, and then you can go over the flop, turn, river. We don't need to go through all of these things, but this is what you can do, and you can take notes on all these players, and then you can also import the notes into your coin poker or just keep them on a sheet of paper. This is quite good analysis that you can make. And then we can also see like this guy here. This is also something PokerTracker offers us, like just notes on this player. So he 3-bet blind versus steals with jacks and ace-8 suited. The 3-bet range is jacks, ace-queen suited, ace-8 suited. So that kind of shows what we saw earlier, that his 3-betting range is quite strong, although he does find some bluffs kind of with ace-8 suited. 4-bet range, ace-queen suited, ace-queen offsuit. So he does actually find some bluffs for the 4-bets, but just not a lot. And maybe this is because the sample size isn't big enough. I would like to have like 4, 5, 6 times as much at least to really get something. But still, it is quite important. And I think if you want to improve your win rate, this is a quick way to do it on Coin Poker. Just studying the regs this way if you have PokerTracker 4.